Alrighty everyone, so today is my 15th month with ALS. I barely just woke up, so pardon my voice. But yeah, today is the big day where I hit 0 head. This bad boy that you see blowing from my ventilator is my 0 head now, so I have to wear a neck pillow around my neck. It is my 15th month, and rather than going on a big spiel about everything, I'm just gonna talk to you guys about my hands, my head, and my breathing. So August wanted to hit me literally like a damn train and make me lose 3 things in 1 month. Officially, my head hit 0 today, my breathing hit 7, and my arms hit 2. So my entire body that you're seeing right now is only 2%, which is so crazy to me. Just how quickly and fast my ALS has really taken a toll on my body. Super quickly. It's only the 15th month, what the hell? But a few days ago I went on a big rant about my ALS. So you can stop hearing my horrible voice right now, and I'll resume y'all to that video. Obviously, we haven't discussed openly about ALS in quite some time. I guess I could say that I've been talking about it a bit more than I used to. But I also wanted to just sit down and kind of openly talk to y'all about how I've been feeling with ALS, because I don't feel like I add that enough in my ALS videos. Typically, in my ALS videos, I'm like, guys, I'm not this percentage, bye. You know, but ALS, I think, has been now taking a toll on me. I don't know, somewhat mentally, maybe, in an aspect, because before ALS, I can't remember if y'all remember this time of the channel. I don't know how many people were there for that part of the channel. It's okay if y'all weren't, but if you recall, maybe, before ALS, I was kind of like open to sharing literally everything about me. Here's my vent, here's my trach, here's everything I have. So I had a little cough this morning, or I almost gagged, you know. I wouldn't even really share that aspect. I would share so much of that aspect of my life. I kept sharing and sharing, even if it was TMI, honestly. I would pick up the camera, I would hit record, talk and talk. It was kind of like what I'm doing now. But, you know, back then I used to openly discuss everything. I would not miss a beat. I wouldn't do anything. I would honestly talk. And I noticed that ever since getting ALS, and ever since my substantial weakness point, which I think was around my 8th month, where I started really figuring out really just how weak I was. Going back off of ALS, you know, I just used to share every little aspect of my life. I have a spinal cord injury, and I love to still share the fact that I have a spinal cord injury, but I don't really, and honestly, I don't even go into detail much anymore. Because back then, I used to go like, oh, you know, I'm C3, C4, C5, C6, C8, like, I have so much things, but I still do talk about it because I find it's important to talk about. I had a rough journey getting to where I am today. And, you know, I like to bring up refreshers of like, why do you not feel? Well, I have a spinal cord injury. Why were you intubated for so long? I have a spinal cord injury and my body couldn't handle it. But back then I used to and I'm going to be open about this, I used to make everything about me. I used to, the minute I would turn on the camera, me. I would never, no offense, and shut up about myself. And I've been noticing that I've been kind of like, in my eyes, I've been kind of recoiling off that pattern. Like, I wouldn't really, on videos, I talk about me a lot because they're my videos. But in real life, when I turn off the camera, I don't really talk about myself. Not really. You guys can recall in the past month or two, I've had like 3 to 4 gagging moments where I've actively choked. And I kind of created videos about that, you know, in different substantial, but it started by the 3rd or 4th video, because, you know, podcast, weekly vlog, something else. I started getting tired of sharing that. I felt like, how could I do this all the time? How would I pick up the 10th video and say I'm a quad? how would I be the 10th video in and still telling my story and everything? And I believe it's important to spread awareness and share my story over and over for people who are new and for people who are reading. I do that more in my reading or my writing instead of videoing. But I find that SMA Vlogs is more of a medical-based channel and sharing our lives. And for the past many years that we've been doing YouTube and on this YouTube channel, almost 2 years now. September, that's wild. I shared my life, and I don't know, I just shared it and shared it and shared it, and I would never physically stop. But now, I know I've been going on this one subject, and I apologize, but now I find myself not really doing that. Obviously, I still do it in a aspect for our videos, but off camera, what you don't see is that I'm being very quiet and I'm kind of in my own world. I'm not who I am on camera, if I'm being honest. I'm a talkative person, I'm not going to deny that, but I just don't discuss about me often off camera. But on SMA Vlogs, I tend to steer towards that direction more, because my wife isn't much of a talker, nor is my husband, and I gotta keep the content interesting somehow. Just like we'll be showing my spasms this Sunday in the weekly vlog. I was talking about my spinal cord injury and my spasms and things, but off camera, I stopped talking about it. I went back in my chair and played a few games and never talked about it again that day. And I haven't talked about it. I find myself not talking about me more. And obviously, I'm kind of grateful that I kind of got out of the habit. Of course, I find it, everyone should have a story, and everyone has a story and they should be able to tell it, but I shared it way too much. But now that we're steering off sort of how I felt like I was talking too much and sharing about me, I'm going to share about me more, because I don't think I feel like I don't do that enough in the ALS aspect. And my spinal cord injury, I've shared about me millions of times. But in ALS wise, a lot of you have seen my playlist that I created for ALS, and the videos I have on there are like 4 to 5 minutes of me. Oh, I was dysfunction. Now I'm this. That's really it. Even on my 1 year, we didn't really reflect. I guess we kind of reflected on how I felt, but not in a crazy aspect. But over these past 3 months, I think on the 8th month or the 10th month, I can't remember. But I think everything really started to change for me. Unlike my 1 year, I think I kind of started to think about it more. I was like, you know what, it's been an actual year of this living shitty disease. So it's been 3 months since my 1 year. And ever since my 1 year, things have just gone down really quickly. I choked 3 to 4 times, gagged, almost vomited, about vomited again. Even the family reunion, we didn't go into that. In the beginning of my ALS journey, May 27th, 2024, I was just freshly diagnosed, and I kind of just blurted out, honestly, because I've been the type of person to go through in my life where I've had a lot of changes. I was previously able-bodied in 2017, somewhat. I still had disabilities, but they didn't change how I looked physically. In 2019, I had ALS the first time, and my hands looked different, and I became paralyzed from about the waist or mid-chest down. And so that already changed how my body looked, including my Crohn's. It was making me sick and ill, and also my body, I didn't like how my body looked, and I still have body dysmorphia to this day. Spinal cord injury really changed the way I looked at my life. I spent 8 months in a coma. I've spent a whole year on life support, 400 plus days on intubation, 200 days in a coma. It really does change your outlook on life once you don't really know how much time has passed, including my husband. I have no idea how hard that must have been on my husband, because he had to watch me go through all that. My wife, Emmy, right beside me, she never really saw that recovery aspect. We started dating in February 18th, 2023. Well, I recovered in February 2023. So she saw the recovered me, where I could move my thumb, and I was off the vent, I was off of everything, besides my tracheostomy. My wife and me never really saw the bad aspect. She just saw the recovery me. I just got my vent off. I got my diaphragmatic pacemaker removed to move my thumb, and she heard me talking and doing well. Matthew, on the other end, my husband, who's been my husband for almost 6 years, we were barely, not even a year married. So, to be 2 years married when I recover, that has to be some sort of really traumatic things. And to go, spend more than a quarter of your marriage seeing your wife almost dying has to do something to you. My wife has seen me through hard times, recovering through my spinal cord injury, but I got through most of my recovery by that point, when me and my wife started dating. But when we got married, I was well recovered. I still can move my thumb, and that's sadly the most extent I can regain from my injury, but for the most part, my wife didn't see me through all that. But my husband had to see me through before getting injured, so he saw what I looked like before I got injured. And that has to take a really big mental toll on me and my husband, seeing my body physically change in front of our eyes. My hands were never like this. I don't know if y'all can imagine, just closing your eyes and then waking up to a whole new perspective and reality, kind of like my wife. She was able-bodied when we were dating, and she got into a truck accident, where she was carrying a big heavy package, landed on her neck and chest, and became a quad. And I had to see Amy's body change, and that was, in a way, traumatic. Even me seeing Amy's body and her being intubated for 2 days and trached for 2 days, not 8 months and a year, was traumatic, and I can't imagine what my husband felt or what I felt, and it's still very hard to know what I've truly felt. As far as ALS goes, seeing my body change and seeing me get new equipment like a peg and new colostomy, not due to ALS, but around the ALS time, seeing my body get more and more changes to it, including a new vent. When I was recovered, I had no vent, no pacemaker, and I thought I was getting way better. But to see that stuff being slowly added on, that reminds me of my very traumatic past from not even 4 years ago. But in some ways, you're like, wow, I have all of the stuff that I dreaded, and that was a sign of recovery when I got removed back on. And to only get them back on, I don't know, is a very stark reminder that I was recovering and now I'm not. I just keep getting worse and worse and worse, and the recovery shall never begin. But I just wanted to, openly talk about a few things from ALS, because of ALS, and I just wanted to openly talk about it. So